Hello and welcome to another Gamerfront video review. My name is Chris, and today we're taking a look at the DOS Professional Model S keyboard. Now I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, Chris, why on earth are you reviewing a keyboard that's been on the market for years? It's true, I've actually had this particular Professional S for about 2 years now, and it's one of my favorite keyboards. However, DOS has actually made some changes to their lineup. Before, you could only find the Professional S in blue and brown switches. This particular one actually uses Cherry MX Reds. So today we're actually going to open it up and take a look at this keyboard. Got a nice little cleaning cloth, you will need this. Alright, so here is the new Professional S versus my old one. They actually look about the same. Mine has obviously got some smudges and such on it, as tends to happen. The biggest change on the outside is the addition of these media keys at the top, which you won't find on the older versions. These were actually introduced a little while back. We did a review that you can see on the site of the new keyboard with the new keys. However, what's different is on the inside. You will actually see that it does in fact have red switches, whereas mine, I went for the quieter browns. So we'll get a close-up shot of these. So I'll go ahead and put these back on for now. So what is the difference between the two types of switches that we have here? Originally the browns were marketed as the quieter switch, which if you've ever used blues, you'll understand why. Reds are about the same. They have a slightly different feel and a slightly different tone to them. It's really hard to hear over a video, but I think the Reds are actually a little quieter personally, and I've been partial to them on other keyboards I've owned. Other than that, they're very similar. It takes roughly the same amount of pressure and the same travel distance for these keys, so they're actually quite similar. It's a personal preference kind of thing. Let's take a look at the other features that we have on this keyboard, which are going to be very similar to my original, which I'm just going to move out of the way for now. So, for those of you that have not seen a DOS keyboard before, this is the Professional S, and it has a row of media keys, which were added not too long ago. So if you want to adjust your volume, pause, play music, things like that, you can do that using the function key and hitting one of the F keys. On the side, we're actually going to have a pair of USB ports. These are great for if you want your mouse to be plugged in really close to you or you have a headset. Those are perfect. You're actually going to see two USB ports here. You can use those for a 6-key rollover, or if you prefer, use a PS2 port, and you'll actually be able to tap into that in-key rollover for people that need that. On the underside, two very simple feet. There's only one level of height adjustment, so you're either going to have it up or down. Nothing in between. Now I'd like to take a closer look at the keys and what's underneath, specifically the longer keys such as the Shift, Enter, and Spacebar. As you can see, DOS has decided to continue using the CoStar type stabilizers on both the Shift and Enter key. However, when we move over to the Spacebar, you'll notice that they've decided to use the Cherry stabilizer instead of a CoStar type stabilizer. Now this is a change from previous keyboards, as you can see with my older Professional S. Now we're not really sure what prompted DOS to make the change. Personally, I prefer the older type stabilizer. We'll actually give you a closer shot of the spacebar. Now this is the older one from my original Cherry Brown version. And it has a metal bar that goes across the entire key. Now this keeps it stable by attaching it to anchor points at the end. And this is going to give you a better overall feel when pressing down on the sides of the spacebar as opposed to in the middle. Now on the newer version, you'll see you actually just have 2 additional anchor points and no bar going across. This is where the difference lies. It's really a matter of personal preference. Like I said, I like the older style, but that is the direction DOS has decided to go with future keyboards. Finally, I want to take a look at the individual keycaps themselves. Now DOS uses a laser edge style keycap, which if you're not familiar actually engraves the letter into the key and then it's filled in later. So this should help prevent your letters from wearing out over time. Now something interesting that you'll see is underneath the keycap. You'll see a little tiny ring of rubber around the center stock. Remember earlier when I said that this particular keyboard sounded a little quieter? That was partially due to the red switches, but actually most of it was this little rubber ring. It actually dampens the sound when the key is pressed down. So these are on every single key, including even the space bar, as you can see right here. So there you have it. This is the DOS Professional Model S keyboard with Cherry MX Reds. It retails for $149, which is a $10 premium over the brown and blue switch variants. But if you prefer red switches like I do, this is definitely a great keyboard to check out. I'm really happy that DOS has expanded their line to include the reds. Now you can find a link below to where you can purchase it, and do stay tuned for more video reviews.